So I'm very proud to be at BehaviourWorks Australia, and I'm also very proud to have a psychology background. So that's where I came from. I came from psychology. I studied psychology all the way through to PhD, and I've taught psychology for over 20 years to students who were very privileged in some contexts, to students who were very underprivileged. So a great diversity. It's very much a one-on-one type of scenario. So there's a psychologist that will work with a single individual to help them in whatever way they need help. Behaviour change and behavioural science, however, has more of a focus on groups, populations. So there's a much bigger scope, I guess, to create change when you're working with more people than when you're working just with one-on-one. I think at BehaviourWorks, we have direct access to those that are out there trying to create the change that we would like to see. And that's exciting as an educator, but it's also really relieving as a human being to know that there are people who are acting on the issues and the challenges that we're facing, and it gives you real hope that there's going to be great progress in the future. I think there are many issues. I think one of the biggest is taking purposeful action towards the goals that we set out to achieve. I think that's one of the biggest issues. I think we've got great goals out there. The SDGs are a wonderful example of some very well considered and thought out goals for everybody. But as to how we get there, I think behavioural science has a lot to give and a lot to offer to help people in their decision making towards achieving those goals. Often we make decisions based on biases or assumptions, and I think that's where we might lead to non-optimal outcomes. So if we can find ways through behavioural science to mitigate those processes and the eventuation of those outcomes, so using systematic frameworks for change, using explicitly defined strategies and sticking to those, maybe some ways that we could avoid rash decisions. I think rolling out solutions and just expecting them to work is another way for getting us into kind of hot water. So my agenda as a behavioural scientist and an educator, wearing both of those hats, is to empower graduates, empower young people who I'm working with and teaching and I have engagement with, to empower them and to prepare them as best possible. So essentially, I would really love it if our students could make great decisions in the future.